Hello everyone. I would like to introduce everyone to my new reviews in which I'll split by each Clone Wars volumes. 3 videos total, 3 parts. There's 3 volumes, and basically I will give a brief synopsis of each tale in order of the book, and just give my opinion. Um, what I like, what I don't like, and just tell my rating at the end. A rating out of 5. So let's start the review. So, what is the Clone Wars? For those people who don't know about this specific era of the Star Wars universe, these wars occur from the end of Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, when the Battle of Geonosis happens, to the end of Episode 3. Um, so in between Episode 2 and 3, it's a 3-year conflict between the Republic with the Jedi and the Confederacy led by Count Dooku, who betrayed the Jedi Order for the dark side, and his new master, Palpatine, who nobody knows yet. Um, Unlike Dooku and Palpatine. These wars were orchestrated by Palpatine himself so that they could reduce the Jedi immensely so that he could have a better chance of taking out the Jedi once and for all and just taking over the Republic as an empire for the Sith. And the Sith have a 1,000-year gripe with the Jedi because they've never beaten the Jedi and taken over the galaxy from the Jedi. It's never happened. Um, Later on, Palpatine would do just that, but that's for another time. So the Clone Wars is between these two sides. It's actually very brutal and illustrated fully in these comics, in these omnibus books, and by Gennady Tartakovsky, who created the Clone Wars animated series. And I definitely recommend you guys watch the series. It's split into 2 volumes, and it's worth watching. He's also the creator of the cartoon series Samurai Jack, which is a completely badass show. The George Lucas animated series, not so much. Do not watch that show. That show is an embarrassment of all Star Wars, and I understand how far Star Wars has fallen already. But you gotta understand, that show is total shit. Not even meant. I don't want to get into it now. That's for another time. When Star Wars Episode 2 ends with the Battle of Geonosis, the Clone War starts, as I mentioned before. Then right after, the Clone Wars Omnibus 1 continues it on. So let's start with Clone Wars Omnibus Volume 1. It starts with Quinlan Vos, but let's start that part is a little boring. So let's start with the Battle of Camino, which is that's just the main thing. Okay, this happens a few days after the Battle of Geonosis. The Confederacy invades Camino to destroy the clone facilities. Clones are getting killed everywhere, and out comes the introduction of the badass troops, ARC troopers with their blue skirts. Advanced Recon Commando troopers, and these guys just kick ass. One of them, nicknamed Alpha, joins with Anakin and Obi-Wan, and they would eventually go on to other battles together, and that would be later on in other omnibus. Um, the Republic wins the ground battle, and as for the air battle, the Republic also wins, and it beats the Mon Calamari, the fish. They're like the fish people, and they would lose. They lose their commander, and both Dooku and Palpatine are actually shocked the Confederacy lost this battle and wanted the Clone Wars to end there, which is really it's kind of weird to me. I don't understand that. I guess they wanted to capture the facility and use the clones for their own benefit, and I don't know. I don't know how best to explain it. It's kind of weird to me. And the Republic wins the Battle of Camino. The next part is focused on Mace Windu, ironically called Jedi Mace Windu. Shocking, I know. There are 4 parts of the Jedi series, focused on different Jedi and in different timings of the Clone Wars era, but 3 out of the 4 is in Omnibus Volume 1, so you'll read on in future. I'll mention that. This introduces a new character called Asajj Ventress, who is a Dark Jedi trained by Dooku and becomes a general of the Confederacy. She is sent to eliminate a group of Jedi who have fled from the war and not be a part of them anymore. Mace Windu is also sent to make sure these Jedi come back into the Jedi Order. Windu meets with the leader, a Weequay Jedi master named Sora Bulk. Asajj fights it out with the Jedi like they're basically children, and most of them are, and beats them fairly easy. Windu is left standing and makes her retreat, but not before finding out that Sora Bulk has joined the dark side and is in league with the Confederacy. Bulk retreats, and the Jedi who are left from the fled Jedi group, the exiled Jedi group, join with Windu to fight back in the Clone Wars. And that's basically Jedi Mace Windu. Next part is very surprising to me when I first read it years ago, and it's still surprising to me now. It's very violent and very interesting. It's called The New Face of War, and it introduces another new character called Dirge, a complete badass who is a bounty hunter and also a general of the Confederacy. And he is featured in a few issues in Clone Wars, and returns really late because he apparently dies in the Clone Wars animated series, but he returns like 2 years later. Why? This guy is a complete badass and one of the best characters in the Clone Wars series. He gets a short spotlight and he's gone. I don't get it. It's just stupid to me. I don't know. He returns in Omnibus 3 and dies for real. Anyway, I digress. Anakin and Obi-Wan and 2 other Jedi are sent to the Naboo moon for a routine mission, and it all goes to shit. They discover Gungans dying of some crazy ass disease and are infected, and all the Jedi there who go on this mission are infected themselves. The disease is created by the Confederacy and was to be sent to Naboo, but it was on the Naboo moon. Then the Dirge comes out of nowhere and nails Obi-Wan in the fucking head and cracks the skull. And it's just one of the most badass introductions of a character I've ever seen. Dirge and this Jedi are fighting off, and he gets decapitated by Ventress, who also comes out of nowhere. It's fucking nuts. Asajj and Dirge are a crazy combo. Just crazy ass combo. Obi-Wan fights Ventress and is nearly beaten, and it really tests Obi-Wan's emotions because she really gets under his skin, and you can tell they will definitely meet again. Ventress wants to break, just not Obi-Wan, not Anakin, but Obi-Wan. She's interested in Obi-Wan, not Anakin at all. You would think Anakin, but Obi-Wan. It's surprising to me. It's pretty cool. And you will see later on. After the Jedi win, barely, from having their heads chopped off too and shown to Dooku. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Blast Radius is the next comic where Obi-Wan and Ventress face off again. Obi-Wan is met with 4 other Jedi Masters to get an antidote for the disease that they acquired from the last issue on the Naboo moon. This is one of the issues to be cherished, as the artwork is just fucking amazing. Brian Ching is a masterful artist. He created most of the works for Knights of the Old Republic comics, which is also a great fucking series, and I definitely recommend reading them. Knights of the Old Republic. The Jedi fight not only Ventress, but also, what do you know, Dirge. Dirge looks even better than ever under Brian Ching's artwork. He is a masterful fucking artist. The Jedi nearly beat Ventress, but all 4 Jedi die, and Obi-Wan is left with a strand of his life left. 4 Jedi Masters are all beaten by both Dirge and Ventress, and Obi-Wan takes it very personal with Ventress now, but it'll become even more personal in future issues. The next series is Jedi Shakti, but I thought this was a boring story, and it's not exciting at all. Very generic and just not exciting. Yeah, it's nothing to go into. Jedi Aayla Secura is the next interesting issue. Aayla was the former Padawan of Quinlan Voss, who John Ostrander and Jan Duursema have created together in previous work, and they're masterful as a duo. She is a knight now, and Quinlan is a Jedi Master. He lost his memory during an accident and got most of it back through therapy and sent on other missions for the Jedi. Quinlan is now sent by the Jedi to join the Confederacy and become a double agent for the Republic, and pretend to become Dooku's apprentice and know all his dark secrets, and also hook up with a hot-ass chick. Aayla is sent to take down an assassin named Ayora Sung, who was a former Jedi and is now an assassin who joins the dark side but is not with the Confederacy. She has been used in previous works, and Aayla and Ayora Sung battle it out, and Aayla wins. Aayla Secura wins, and Ayora Song is sent to jail and never heard from again. Oh boy, those crazy names. Jedi Count Dooku tests Voss. As Jedi Count Dooku is the next issue. Dooku tests Voss if he's dark side and apprentice material. Dooku makes Voss do some tough decisions, and Voss is eventually he eventually falls in love with a hot chick, whatever. Dooku makes Voss kill her mentor. Voss finds out her mentor actually killed his parents to take over the planet. He does it, and you see that Voss has gone to the dark side for good. But you see later on how that goes. Dead Ends occurs 16 months into the Clone Wars. Stars Bail Organa, Senator of Alderaan. And this is a really cool issue. I really like this issue. Because it sets Bail onto the path of rebellion and makes him question the Republic, the corrupt Republic, led by the shady Palpatine. Bail gets attacked by pirates inside Coruscant space, and Jedi save him. Bail is greeted by his good friend Mon Mothma, who would become instrumental in the rebellion later on, too. They talk, and Bail's wife had a miscarriage, so that makes him regret not having a child, and they would have Leia years later. But Bail talks to Phineas Valorum, who was the ex-chancellor, who was the original chancellor before Palpatine. Phineas looks desperate and hates Palpatine immensely. The things Phineas says is pretty insane, because he knows Palpatine framed him and says the Republic has all gone to shit since Palpatine took office. Palpatine wants more emergency powers and will not back his powers, so he sets into motion an assassination attempt on his own life to make sure the Powers Act passed, and also on Bail's life too. Phineas says Palpatine will remove any group who opposes him permanently, and everything Phineas says, Bail doesn't believe at first, and thinks this guy is just freaking crazy. Phineas warns him, and he departs Coruscant. Bail questions Palpatine and tells him he opposes the Emergency Powers Act. As Phineas leaves Valorum, his ship is destroyed and kills him. This opens Bail's and Mon Mothma's eyes to what is wrong with the Republic and standing against Palpatine, the Palpatine-controlled Republic. He gives a very inspirational speech that should be read. And yeah, the next issue, Striking from the Shadows, is with Quinlan Voss. He is sent by Dooku to kill a senator. He also gets a red crystal used by Darth Anadu for his lightsaber from Count Dooku. A Jedi protects the senator, who is one of my favorite characters, and is featured in previous works. A Jedi Master named Karuk, and he'll be in the Legacy series, which I also definitely recommend reading. Great fucking series. He's nearly killed by Voss, but he survives. Voss tells Dooku of his success, which he regrets. The Jedi Masters that sent Voss on the mission, Voss's original master, Yoda and Windu, regret sending Voss and think he has gone to the dark side, but not completely. So, my opinions. Sacrifice the opening issue of the Clone Wars era was extremely boring to me. I'm gonna talk about different sections of each part in the omnibus. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna say it now. The defense of Kamino really hooked me in, and brought the introduction of the ARC troopers, who are complete badasses, and they have Jango Fett's gene, special gene. Jedi Mace Windu is really cool with Asjad Ventress overpowering the Jedi, and Sora Bulk, a Jedi Master, turning to the dark side and joining Confederacy. He'll become key later on in the Volume 3. The new face of war was a brilliant introduction to Dirge, a crazy fucking maniac bounty hunter, and Ventress getting underneath Obi-Wan's skin, which will be very key later on. A very good and thrilling issue, and very violent. Definitely recommend reading. Blast Radius shows Brian Ching's fantastic artwork, and Dirge and Ventress, and the badassness. Yeah, that's a word. Jedi. Like these two just becoming great altogether. Jedi Shakti was the most boring of all the issues in this omnibus. Generic and uninteresting at all. Jedi Aayla Secura showed Aayla being a true badass, kicking white ass literally against Aurora Sung, who is a pale white color and a total bitch. I'm glad she's gone for good, because she just overpowered and killed every Jedi she met fairly easy in previous issues. I'm glad she's fucking gone. Jedi Count Dooku is a cool addition, but didn't focus on Count Dooku, but on Voss. I want to know more on Dooku's head. What's going on in his head? On his secrets, not Voss. It was cool to see Voss go down to the dark side, but I wanted to focus on Dooku. It's called Jedi Count Dooku, not Jedi Quinlan Voss. Like, every issue is not Quinlan Voss. I mean, come on. I like this guy, but give it a break. Let's get somebody else. But out of all the issues, I thought the last Dead Ends with Bail Organa was the coolest and most innovative. It shows Bail becoming a true man for the people and showing secrets that you've never seen. Definitely a different perspective and not a generic Jedi or a trooper. I'm glad they didn't focus on just the Jedi and the Republic. I just wish they showed something on the Confederacy side. Shown villains there are villains and heroes on both sides of the war. That would have been cool to see, not just on the Republic. Confederacy has some good people too, who joined with the Confederacy. Not out of choice, but they have to. And these are good people too. They're not all evil. I wish they had done something like that. So after telling you all the stories, I gotta tell you guys, I love this era. So you know, I gotta love this omnibus. I have read and loved all the original Clone Wars comics. The stories and artwork are fantastic for every comic in the omnibus. For those not familiar with the Clone Wars era, I would definitely recommend it, and I definitely recommend this volume. It's worth the price of $25, and it collects 13 issues of the beginning of the Clone Wars, loaded with 408 pages of beautiful artwork and interesting story that will hook you into the Clone Wars era. And definitely a must-buy for Star Wars fans. A must-buy. So my verdict is a 5 out of 5. Most people saw that coming, but I stand by it. It had some flaws, but it was a great fucking novel. Please tell me your thoughts of this first omnibus, and what grade you would give it. What is your rating of the omnibus, volume 1? It better be a 5 out of 5. Please leave your comments and questions below. Please like my video. Thanks everyone, and have a good one.